I'm 40 years old,
Me too.
celebrating my 40th.
Me too.
And 2 days later, I get into an accident. And in that car was almost my entire family. My sister, my mom, me, my son. And back then I didn't understand. I thought, and it had been like that my whole life, it was hard. And then there's this accident, which when the car drove away, it just drove away. Exactly where I was sitting towards my side. The airbags deployed, and that was it. And then for 2 days I couldn't get up. My whole body hurt so much. And after that I was recovering for about a year or two. My back hurt terribly and my leg was dragging. I couldn't wear heels. I wasn't blooming. And it seemed, like that was my whole life. Well, how could it get any worse, right?
Listen, well, it's really not the same as when I was 40. I started to think about the eternal things. No, this is a really serious situation. When it just hits you and you feel completely disarmed, that's it.
Yeah, I was really disarmed and it was just like that, everything. I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm already tired. I can't do this anymore.
That is, this kind of egoism is already suitable when the core in yourself, you find, is the last one. That, at least somehow. It allows you to feel alive, and you say that you don't agree with that.
Yes, I don't agree.
And that's when you start searching. And you find my hand, a course in practical energy. So, I'm talking about pretty simple and understandable things. How could they help you? Why do you look like you're in heels right now? From the outside, you wouldn't say that there was some kind of life catastrophe. So how did it work out like that?
Everything is simple. That's exactly where it lies, in the simplest and most ordinary things. I remember when you said, well, I'm telling you the simplest thing is right here. You have to live through it. It's valuable when you really live through it. And then you understand and open up because you look and think, well, what is this energy center? So did you open those gates? It turns out they give you strength. You just straighten up and open up. You're in a good mood. You've got such energy flowing. People are paying attention to you. I started wearing heels after that. I hadn't walked in heels before. I couldn't. I found it hard. I lost about 5 kilograms on my own. So I didn't do anything special. Before that, I was on diets trying this and that. And there, you have to pay attention to your diet, what you eat and what you don't eat. But not here.
Just eat everything and it all stays the same.
Well, when you want to eat...
It's normalization.
Yes, normalization. So I started eating what I want because I started listening. Eat when you want, as much as you want, so you didn't forbid us anything. I think, wow, what a great teaching. Meat is allowed. Fish is allowed. Coffee, tea. Tea, please. Have sex, please. So in general, and then come back to yourself. And I really liked it. And I really started to watch, sometimes, you just walk away from something. But then you keep accumulating, and you start wanting it for yourself. But I already feel uncomfortable like this. I feel comfortable and I really want to explore these states. And you explore these states. For example, I love to meditate, especially in the car. I don't know why this unfolds for me like this. Or when I'm in motion, I'm walking and I start to meditate. I first open the centers, then the gates. It becomes so enjoyable and it's really nice to be alone with yourself. I didn't have that before. I was running away from myself. And now I feel great now where I am. So I was always running, moving to some place. I was returning to my place. And now I understand that and I feel great.
Sasha, there's this thing that a lonely person can feel good, or mentally ill, or like a saint. A saint, because they talk to God, while a sick person just talks randomly. And not many people know that God is actually just us in a different state here, listening to you. It seems like it's enough to just take a course. Sit down, get filled with it, and everything happens on its own.
It happens. Really, it happens. Exactly like that. Intention. You said it yourself, set your intention, live, have a goal. I even stopped wanting anything before. I already knew that nothing would come true anyway. I already gave up on dreaming, thinking, no, it won't come true anyway, it just won't happen, that's it. And now, when...
I lost so much confidence in myself.
Yes. And it was like that. And When we started meditating, for example, December was better. January even better. February, when we were meditating together. There was a celebration at Varatra, just as we...
I'll explain a little that periodically. Throughout the year, various global events take place. These global events are festivals that are known to a large audience on the internet as Navaratri and Shivaratri. These are Hindu festivals, but for those people who own energy, for those people who they know the essence of the process. These are the most favorable moments in the space of time when you can easily and effortlessly connect with the original energies like Shiva and Shakti, meaning these are the energies that are the root cause of everything and the very essence of all existence. So, Shiva is the root cause of everything. It's where it all began. It's the original source. And Shakti is what the entire fabric of our universe is woven from. And at certain moments in time throughout the year, interacting with these energies, interacting with these forces is very easy and simple. And it's precisely during these days that practices take place. And those people who know what to do at this moment, I was just explaining what to do, they are actually engaged in that. They do it. And what were you doing?
On the night, I sat down to meditate, as you said. I sat down and meditated. I made a wish.
So that's what you did. So you told them, listen, here it's...
Moreover, 3, not 1, but 3. I think well, and everyone stayed sober for 6 months.
Did you see how this works? If we don't go into beliefs, how does it work on an energetic level? It's not just like that, you shake the air and there it is, like from a cornucopia, it just pours out. There are still nuances there. Some...
Yes.
So what are these nuances?
It's when you don't close yourself off that you don't enter a constricting structure when you're about to completely tighten up. So before, I also didn't understand what a constricting structure was. When your energies stop, your consciousness energy flows. So that's how it is, just like that. You have this flow going, you really feel it, it's big, it's good, and then suddenly it's already, and then PSS, and you have a headache, it hurts there. Everything hurts. I don't feel like doing anything. The strength completely stops being there.
I remember in one of the broadcasts, it's not like I specifically emphasized and taught, you told me, I see how the problem arises somewhere.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this now for those people who, they're gradually building an understanding of what I'm showing?
It was really interesting for me. I didn't know, when they talk about the tree of life, the roots. And our roots, it turns out, are like this, all along the member, just like you showed, right? They're right here. They're right here, higher, higher, higher. And when our energy centers were, just when we were going through all this, the second flow like this. Classes, that's all. We went through it all, opened everything up, and then bam. So we're sitting here. And they show that before anything comes in here, it gets realized, it enters the energy centers, there.
Everything more primary there.
It's more primary, there, yes. It first enters there, and those energy centers get affected. They kind of collapse, like this, worse and worse and worse. Then, through our energy roots, they come into us. And hello. Diseases, situations, something like that. Everything starts with the letter Zach.
Got it. And it's strange that it stands above.
Yeah. I thought it was all completely different, like this is how it goes. But it turns out it's complicated.
So it's like a representation against the obvious reality that you actually started to observe yourself, right?
Yes, for me it was an eye-opener. It's just an eye-opener.
So, how do you understand this? In the near future, like in a day or so, a little problem is approaching.
You need to go in, connect with yourself. Well, first I open the energy channels, then the gates.
Enter a special state of perception.
Enter a special state of perception, yes, of your consciousness.
The second attention is what we're doing right now. We're stressing out. The second attention is when we can already feel our energy.
Yeah, and well, so today I was doing this while I was driving that's my favorite state when I'm driving. I start, first you go through and then you start you raise your consciousness up through the energy centers, and you immediately feel, oh, there's a blockage there. And you start to uncover it. And then from there, like you understand that you realize that a situation is supposed to happen.
So basically, you can even become aware of where it might pop up, in which area, so to speak, it might hit.
Yes, on the surface.
Are you ready to acknowledge as a seer? I'm ready. The energy is moving through you. You start to navigate through all of this. You have a daily life where, let's be honest, the ability to see energies is greatly narrowing. It really narrows down, so what to do? How do you manage to do it? I've talked about this, I've recommended it, I've mentioned balance many times, how to maintain it. But it's one thing for me, who has already dedicated 2/3 of my life to all of this, and you, who practically started studying it a year ago. So, from your words, from your understanding of the processes, how do you do it? How do you do it so that it was a given? So, I just heard that you have a moment when you're driving in a car, and you're just observing your energy. But you have moments in life when you're not driving in a car?
Yes.
What to do there?
And I allow myself to be who I am. You know, now all my relatives and close ones, even when you meet someone, a young man, he knows that I meditate. And when something's not right with me, I step away, I say I need to be by myself right now. That's it. I go and sit with myself.
There's just a difference with myself. I am who I am, and with myself.
With myself. And I isolate myself. For example, it could be, sometimes it can even be 20 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes. It doesn't depend on anything. So it depends on your state, how you go through all of this. And when I feel everything in the flow, just like when I always advised you about your son. So about raising my son, there were situations like this, well, we don't understand. That's it. I'm switching to aggression. I'm switching to swearing. And then that's it. Everything hurts. And that's it. I understand, well, that's it. I've tensed up again, just like what we practiced, our Saturday practice. Everything just went to hell, right? It went to hell. So I think, well, was it all for nothing?
Wait, well, not everything. Some things stay with you.
Knowledge.
Knowledge, I agree. All right then, something and something else. Mastery.
Yes, of course.
So what are you putting in place? Of course, you can always pull something out of your pocket that you'll use and it will work. Listen, you know.
And that's it. I tell my son, I say right now, I'm really angry. Let's go to different rooms. Because for us, it's like a taram. Because he's on fire, and I'm not giving in at all.
As if he could be someone else. An apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, and that's it. And then I start to breathe. I start to activate the fifth gates.
So basically, you already know what you essentially need to do.
Yes.
I didn't really explain what exactly needs to be done in this situation. So, as I understand it, you already have your own understanding of how to stabilize yourself in certain situations. Because you say, I'm in the car, looking at the center, up and down the ceiling, right? So you say, I go to another room, so you physically move your body, you go, the fifth gatekeeper. So you already have your own concepts of how to work with yourself, right?
Yes.
Well, basically, I'm just listing the energetic aspects that are available to a person.
You know, for me in the course, for example, I listened, but still, when there's no feedback to ask questions, it was really hard. Sometimes you seem to be listening, you explain everything clearly, but still, I was missing something. And when you opened it, the closed club is great. You know, you can ask about this, you can clarify it, and you have that feedback. Sometimes now I don't even ask questions anymore lately. Well, probably everyone who knows, right? I hardly ask anything at all.
You've even stopped turning on the camera because I don't have it. As soon as I bring her in, I'll just go poof and disappear. Questions?
Well, because when I think about it, I start to mentally communicate with you, and I think I need to ask Anton about this. Class. And you start to explain, here's my answer. That's it. I don't even ask anymore. I really like this.
Mysticism. Or is it not mysticism?
No, it's not mysticism. The same thing, here's the last activity.
But does anyone hear you? Does anyone react to you?
Do you know
there are aspects when already, without me, without my involvement, something similar starts happening.
Yes, answers come from the outside. For example, even a stranger can come up to you, say what you just asked, and you get your answer.
So, who do you always need to be hugging? That's it, I'm passing through. Is it a dream or something? But, unfortunately, until someone takes you in. So, like this, holding your head, not bumping into anything. This eternal search outside, where's justice? Where's the truth? Where is it all? And where is it really? It's there, with everyone.
It's there.
Under the bosom. There's a saying, to be under God's bosom. And you can kind of turn it inside out, so that in reality, it's right there under your bosom.
Yes. And now the most important thing, what quality I think, is how not to get angry at a person, not to be aggressive, right? And when you started talking, the most important thing is that well, I heard this. Maybe I heard it before, but I didn't accept it. And now I understand that we are all pieces of creation. God, yes, we are all God. God's children, well, the Almighty, yes, He is in each of us. And when I get upset with that person, I'm actually getting upset with God. Well, yes. I get upset with him, and it turns out that I'm walking, and that's it. And I start to see that very piece of the Almighty in that person, and I somehow calmly smooth everything over, and our conflict with that person just disappears.
Building relationships becomes much easier when you can perceive not just on the level of mental states, physical movements, or gestures, but also to be aware of your own energy, how it moves, and what reactions can just kill us on the spot. Because, yes, there is only one being. Yes, it divides itself into many. But even if you direct aggression outward, it still ends up being against yourself.
It comes to you just like this, wow. With a wave, here you go.
Yes. And the ability to see energy allows you to quickly navigate what's starting to happen, sometimes even in advance. Before that, it had already come down to some specific actions. So we looked at one possible scenario. There was a situation, there was a trauma, there was a loss of self, faith in myself. It wavered. And here you are, in heels pleased, seeing what there are things in your life that are no longer about solving problems, but are already in the aspect of satisfying your passions, fulfilling your needs, when you finally allowed yourself to want and move in that direction. Again, already having something in your pockets called energy. Let's look at some option like that.
Let's go.
Here's the thing. Are you ready to discuss what you said that I went and took it because I can...
Yes, that's already a lot.
Do you remember the first 3 wishes we made during the fee ceremony?
Yes. The first 3 wishes. I wanted to go to the sea.
I'll explain to you what I'm getting at. A huge number of people tell stories about how, well, you just need to follow a certain sequence of actions, and everything will happen on its own. I placed some notes, papers around the apartment correctly.
I placed them, but nothing worked. It didn't work for me at all.
So, what am I getting at with all this? How is it going? So, what's actually happening at a deep energetic level? So, we're not talking about something abstract, are we? Well, that's how it was. Something groaned, yes, and here it is. It has arrived. No, you can still see how it all happens.
At first it was like that. I made a wish, thought, well, that's it. Nothing's going to happen again. And that's it. Do you understand? You can see when that night came, when all those energies connected. We were practicing at that moment. Then those energies really connected, meaning some time passed, and then everything started to unfold. But I want to. I really have this desire, but I want to. The first wish was, so I want to. Back then it turned out that financially there was no way to go to the sea.
Need but no opportunity.
There was a need but no opportunity. I didn't understand how or what. You say just take it and act. There's just no opportunity. Just take it and act. I go on Avito, start booking, checking the prices, for example, at the resort. So I went to Anapa.
I remember you went live with the sea. Are you satisfied?
Yes.
What are you practicing there at the sea?
Yes. I practiced with such pleasure.
So, I went on Avito and checked.
I went on Avito and checked the prices. I booked it.
Well,
I just booked it. I'm thinking, how? What, I think, well, take out a loan, that's all. And that's it, I'm thinking, well.
thoughts started.
So those thoughts started, so that's it, I stopped. And here, I mean, everything is flowing. So I became somewhat content, kind of happy.
So you harmonized yourself, you just started to take action, you stated your intention.
Yes.
And I maintained my state. Wondering why about this.
And I maintained my state. And bam, they tell me, we're giving you a bonus.
Reality found a way to meet your need.
Yes.
Why is all this happening? Because your state implied that energy flows through you. There are some basic rules of this universe. And one of these basic rules is this. If you want to get something, you have to give something. If a person can't perceive themselves beyond their physical body, what can they give? A hand, a kidney. What else can he give? Their labor, some. Maybe financial things? But a person can see themselves at the level of energy. And so when we practice, almost always when we practice, I constantly say a phrase. We are flowing and burning, flowing and burning. What is it if not permanent returns? But how can you give if you're all tense? No way. So you relax. Your energy starts to flow. You become valuable to reality. And the opportunity opens up to satisfy some of your own needs. So you satisfy the needs of reality. And that's a very important point. Because a person, sometimes you read all sorts of posts on the internet, look at comments under videos, generally watch videos of some other people. And I've always been really upset by the position of other people who say that a person is a parasite, that humans are useless. A person is, even the movie The Matrix said, if you remember, yes, what humanity is. But that's not true. You can behave like a parasite, but the Creator didn't make you a parasite. You must give. And you must give what no other creature on this planet has. If you look at the structure of a human and the structure of an animal, even if it's a monkey, from an energetic perspective, I understand that there are people who came from a pinky finger, but there are also those. Me too. You figured it out too, right? Yes. A person has energies that other living beings don't have. And here it is. If a person is aware of himself at the level of energy, not just physics, it is obvious that he can give money. And there's even a saying, thank you God for money. But we also have energy. We have the ability to give reality. Those aspects of ourselves that no one else on this planet can give. And this is, in fact, the idea and the essence of a person, the essence of their nature and the meaning of their existence here. To give those energies, to express those energies into the space that no one else has. And so when a person is practicing, first of all, they take on a state where they are relaxed, and relaxed as if they're about to go to the bathroom. It's relaxed. And instead of waste, pure energy comes out of you, and reality says, hey, you're good, what do you want? And at that moment you say, oh, could you bring me a resort, please? She says like this. It was all the same for me.
I didn't feel like doing the repairs.
So this is more interesting, this story even.
In the hallway and in the kitchen. It's all the same there.
Listen, I want to renovate too.
You see, if possible, well, like this, what's here, well, just myself. I can only do it myself. But I can't do anything myself.
So the dilemma is you want to do it yourself, but you can't do it yourself.
And a friend calls, something like that, saying, Olga, what's up, how are you? But I didn't know how to ask before. I always, I know a person who can do something. There's this pride, and I can't. My throat would tighten up.
Look, here's a very important point. Look, we have the word pride. And, well, pride, it's bad. But from the perspective of energy, why is it bad? That's a tight spot, right?
You're clenching, having a spasm, you're forbidding yourself. On the contrary, you need to.
You don't give the energy a chance to flow.
Yeah, you don't let it.
You just take it and block it. Basically, it's a spike, your own living energy body flowing out from yourself. And this spike is all gathered.
So, that's it. And then everything started to fall apart for me. I say, the door is creaking, it's impossible. This. He says, do you want me to come over and help you? I said, okay, let's do it. And that's it. He came in and said, well, something like this, this, this. I said, let's go. So they went and changed it. They went and changed it. He was like, I said, I really want to renovate, but I don't have the funds. Help me out. What should I do? How much should I buy? What should I get? He was like, come on, I'll do it for you. I said, I don't have the money to pay you. Well, since everything is going there, all of it, I said, I can't step away.
The budget, resources, the topic, it's all well known.
So this person helped. He said, no problem. I just want to help you. And he started helping me.
Why did he even want to help you?
Because that gave me the desire. Yeah, I also started to flow. I relaxed.
There, come on, let's put the emphasis. Better, not on what you ordered from Shiva and Shakti. Initially, it was your own whim. And they were like, yes, here you go. It won't work like that if we don't emphasize these nuances. And the nuance is that the state you've learned to maintain, by this time, allowed you to receive these benefits. But if you didn't have those states, if you were, well, like you were a year and a half ago, would it have worked like that?
That word doesn't exist at all.
So you developed the skill to interact with reality.
Well, and thirdly, to meet a man and have a relationship, something like that so that it exists.
That's the one who fell asleep during our...
Yeah, he fell asleep. Well, honestly, he's done for. He probably couldn't handle our energies. Well, no. And the person came.
He came, yeah. That can happen too.
The person came and we talked for a long time and the energies were flowing. It's just, well, who chooses these energies or not? And I, well, started to impose probably my own. What I'm saying is, well, let's practice. Well, look at how I'm doing it with her.
Did you want to get in this?
No, I started to throw things out, to clean up.
What was I talking about?
You said don't do it?
So what did you do?
Well, what did you do?
What was the result?
The person left.
What can we say after this?
You can't be too sweet. You just have to radiate, and the person will be drawn to you on their own.
You can say after this, now you've become wiser.
Wiser?
With your own bump?
Yes.
Of course. It's better not to do it that way, to listen more, but it works like this too.
Well, I have the right to make a mistake. And shouldn't I decide? And before, when I used to scold myself, now I'm trading. Well, I made a mistake, so what? It's not a big deal. Everything happens in this life. I just move on.
By the way, I remember, yes, you told me. What about you? One of the enthusiasts liked to sprinkle herself with ashes and bury herself in the ground. So what? Was it necessary to treat yourself like that?
It's probably the memory of our ancestors. Everything else, like how you see yourself, how your parents were, that can be in the subconscious. Well, I used to do it that way. It was normal for me. And then listening to you, yes, to love myself, and now...
And it doesn't get worse when you stop.
It's just great.
You've become better.
On the contrary, my dear Olechka. Yeah, you did great. Well, it happens. Well, then...
Again, I want to emphasize a little bit. It's one thing when you just love yourself. You pamper yourself, and you could say that's a bad kind of selfishness. And it's a completely different thing when you love yourself, and it feels good to you. From this, in all aspects, everything just gets better. Here's the thing. What exactly from what I told and showed allows you to love yourself in a way that is absolutely safe and only gives you the opportunity to be happier? So, what does it give?
It provides...
Yes. Where's that very nuance? That flips this system of selfishness, the kind that's bad.
Yeah, you don't even think about who's bad or good. You just enter that state and that's it.
The state.
It's that state. It's exactly when your heart is on fire, you open up. And really, the flows come from everywhere. Here, from everywhere. They're coming right here, there, everywhere. That's when you flow. You can feel it energetically, how you flow. That's it. When she stops, you think, aha, I must have blocked something.
So what do you need to do to make it stop? How should you not behave? What shouldn't you do? Let me write down this tome right now.
Yes, everything is possible. Everything can be done. You can do everything. You understand? The main thing is, who said that it's not allowed, that it's bad?
When was the last time you read a book? World literature. Now it's going to get on your nerves.
So, that's what I'm telling you about. Who said that it's bad? For some it's bad, for others it's good, but God loves everyone.
I recently heard someone say something interesting about truly loving your neighbor. How?
Yourself?
But for some reason, everyone forgets about this. So it turns out that no one loves themselves.
No one loves themselves.
Yeah, and that's why it works the same way with your neighbor.
Well, because how you treat yourself is how you treat that person.
So what do we have here? What if you know this state, you can enter it? However, this is not permanent. Let's say already inalienable, and it can still be lost.
It might be lost, but you can always stop it.
But it turns out that's enough to be happy.
Yes.
Or something else needed.
No.
Maybe you need to.
Forgive yourself. No.
It's magical to walk somewhere.
You know, I used to do that.
This is more interesting.
I used to do that. I went to temples, traveled, stood in services, and observed fasts. It became easier for a while because you somehow change focus of attention. You get distracted, that's it. You've lost focus. It seems like it should be this way, these canons, these postulates, and that's it. And that's it. Again, you're not thinking about yourself. It's not about yourself. And you realize that, well, yeah, it seems like the sun, well, yeah.
It didn't satisfy you, did it?
It didn't satisfy me.
Still, I want personal support.
Yes, it's personal support. What are you starting to do? You start going on pilgrimages. You go again, it's for a while, and that's it. And then you come back.
And it feels like nothing ever happened.
And it feels like nothing ever happened. It's just for a while. And right now, I understand that I definitely don't want to do that for anyone. It's not to say that prayer is bad or good, whether you should do it or not.
We have mantras, basically.
No.
The essence isn't in them.
Yeah, the essence isn't in them. They help. They open a certain state, just like prayer does. So it opens up for you, but you need to support it. And to support it, you need to have a fire in your heart.
And to feel the fire in your heart, what do you need to be able to do?
Love yourself. To connect with the Almighty, with yourself.
And everything suddenly becomes sharp, simple, easy, and effortless.
Yes. Do you remember that one moment? It was winter, and everything in my life turned upside down. And I asked you about it, and you said, Olga, everything is fine. He says, well, you're almost crying, but where's the fire in your heart? Your heart is just closed. And I said, well, why not? I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything, but it's just not right for me. And you say, Olga, I missed a nuance. I missed a nuance, and then really I stopped. That's it. The village? Okay. I think I will open up. It's all opening up for me. It's not opening up what to do. It's all opening up for me. I think I will still be. But mantras help me. That's why I asked you about mantras. You gave them to me, like you. We're talking about your experience, some mantras, how you opened up. And you know, it really helps. They really help me. And then boom, 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 it opened up and everything felt so good. I'm thinking, oh. And it feels so good.
So how does it happen like that? It seems like you...
Orthodox.
It seems so... You have a vision of energy, you have experiences everything. Why did it throw you out of that state so much that at some point you came to the broadcast and found yourself just all tense? How did that happen? Well, why?
I lost myself.
So what tempted you so much, but threw you out of all of this?
I was thrown out. Well, at that moment, it seemed to me that it was unfair, and everything else in my life was just a situation. But, as it turned out, everything. How it should be, and everything is fair. It needed a magical kick, a push, because you're not taking care of yourself, you're not dedicating time to yourself, but you're dedicating it to everyone else. And you're wasting all your time on everyone, while you've forgotten about yourself. And that's when I realized that
you can't forget about yourself.
And I forgot back then. And now I understand, but what about that? Back then, it really was like that. And I got upset, as they say, with everything and everyone. It was a divorce, and it seemed that my ex-husband is to blame for everything. Yes, I do.
Easier it is.
Well, yes.
And you just took your old patterns, old wheels on old tracks, and the only thing that worked for you at that moment was this. Our regular closed clubs?
Yes.
Where did I just get only yes?
A magical kick, yes. That's how it was?
It brought me back to myself. Yes, I had to use mantras, yes. It might not work for everyone, but it's a pretty effective mechanism. It brought me back to myself, my heart opened up again. Did the world react to that?
Yes.
Did events start to change?
It started
So the cause of everything that happens to you is within you.
within me.
Yes, everything is in your hands. And this, again, is yet another obvious confirmation that our state is what defines us. Defining and the states that you create for yourself, they can be trained. They can be trained? Training, studying, all of this. It's not something that you need to, so to speak, do everything in a family. You just need to sit a little and practice.
Exactly. A little.
Is it easy to knock you out of that state right now? What do you think?
It's still easy to knock me out, but I quickly realized that just like that, I start to feel uncomfortable. And right away, you feel all shriveled up, like you're feeling bad, your head starts to hurt. No, I immediately have no energy. I'm running out of energy. It's like they took you, and turned off the light bulb. I'm like, yeah, how is that even possible? But Anton said we have energy, a sea of it. We just radiate. I just need to gather my consciousness back from where I've scattered it everywhere. And I immediately remember our practices, how we gather our consciousness from the outside. And I do that, and that's it. Because now I understand where I left my attention, where I got too deep into something and I shouldn't have. Here, a person should. It's sticky, it clings. And sometimes you listen to someone and he needs to go through this, and you listened, and it seems like you got caught up in it, left something there, and you start to feel bad. That's it. I'm glad, yes, a person. Just like that, everything. I can empathize with that. But still, I bring my consciousness back.
So look, right now we are talking to you, and there are quite a few of these from the outside, like magical, even things, yes, magical. But we're talking as if we're discussing physical culture.
Well, it's like an exercise, just a regular exercise. It's the same thing with dumbbells, right? This dumbbell is for this muscle, and that dumbbell is for another muscle, and that's it.
So in energy work, it's all the same. You just need to know how it works, you need to be able to perceive it, and through that, you can start to build your life, taking all these things into account. Not like a blind kitten in a dark room, but when your eyes are open and everything is bright.
Yes.
And everything becomes clear, and there's no temptation to blame everyone. There's no temptation to just lead with ashes.
Not anymore.
You can't shift the blame onto everyone else anymore, except for yourself, because, well, how can you do that when you don't see how it really happens? Is it harder to live like this or easier?
Easier.
So wait, you take full responsibility for yourself, and that makes it easier.
Yeah, I used to always take responsibility for myself, but I blamed others. But the responsibility, well, as they say, social, has always been on me. But here it's a bit different, it's energetic. Here, it's really about the state of your soul and your connection with the divine. This is your relationship with Shiva, with the Supreme Being, with God, whatever you want to call it. It's your relationships. When I trusted him, I started to understand that you can call him Dad. You can even just call him Dad. There, you want, well, there, like a brother. Everything is completely different for you. And that's when everything changed. Although it's all the same, I take responsibility for everyone. It's all on me. But here it's really a different state. It's about relationships. Relationship with you, and opportunities, they open up right away.
It's just one thing when you bear that burden, yes, that responsibility that has formed over the course of your life, and you bear it with the last of your strength. It's completely different when you're carrying the same thing, but you don't even feel it as a burden. You know, there are all sorts of things on the internet. Societies and some societies shout that you need to throw off all responsibility, just love yourself, only that. And you look at these people and think, guys, why is this even a burden for you? I also think it's easy.
Well, yeah, back then it seemed so hard. I think, how is that even possible? How can it be like this? What seems so easy, like you explained, it's so simple. But if you don't try, you won't know. And I remember you always said, when I started practicing with you, it all intensified in the closed club. Everything hurt. But you said, endure this pain, keep going, don't stop. And so I endured it, and someone...
So what was that pain about? Where did it even come from? What was hurting?
Did it hurt? At first, the organs hurt, but you understand that it's a blocked channel. This is your... I understand.
Did you see what caused this pain?
At first, I didn't understand that.
You not see it first?
I didn't see it. So you just... No, that didn't happen. What's happening, right? The organ, yeah, let's say the energy, it's always been there. You've been through it all, your hands and everything, right? You do all of this, and it just lasts for a moment, and then everything goes back to the same. That's what the problem was. And it comes back. But now those pains don't come back.
Why?
It's because my channels are open.
And you talk about it so lightly, as if it's just a given.
And when they close, they immediately signal, oh, this hurts, I feel a pull here. And you just stop right away. Well, I immediately I stop and meditate. If you're not at work, I at least take a little break. I close my eyes for 5 minutes.
So you have a new sense organ?
Yes.
It's called macrosensory perception. It's like an alarm for you. Alarm, alarm, emergency, emergency.
Well, yeah, like I was just screaming, ta-da-ta-da. Same thing.
Yes. And that's it. And you know what to do. You know how to act. And you don't let it just drop down to a physical manifestation when you'll have to deal with it all by hand. Right? Or am I saying something wrong?
Yes, exactly. But now I want to learn even more.
Yes, I definitely want to learn more.
Sri Yantra.
So, how is it?
Yes. But we might still get there. You're still going to take this course?
I'll do it. I'll do it. An hour? We'll master the first elements. In order for us to move forward, we really need to stop jumping into these processes from the street. Yes? Yes. But still, it's important to have at least some basic preparation. Otherwise, it'll be the same thing. Everything hurts, I don't understand why. And then, oh, there's a ditch here. It turns out he's actually over there. And so, when a person moves to the next level of interaction with their nature, with their intensity, with their 64 minds, which we have at our disposal, 63 separate, 64 as valuable, this really requires some basic mastery to interact with this process. And we develop basic mastery. Can it be done just like that, with a snap of the fingers?
No. No, not right away. It gets easier, but not right away. You need to understand this awareness that has come to you. Learn, yes, to learn and feel these energies. That is the sensitivity of this, the feeling.
Yes, just like I said, the organ of perception, a new one appears. And he opens up a huge range of possibilities. When I gave my first interview, then the host asked me, what's the meaning of it all? What's it all for? I said, I strive for freedom. So can you, as of today, having practiced for just over a year already, relate to yourself? What about this word? It has decreased overall. Does it make sense to use such a word? Does it correlate with your life in any way? Or can we find a more suitable word?
A more suitable one.
Which one?
It has expanded. Well, it's with many words. Opportunities have opened up. It's the discovery of everything new. For those who love sweets, yeah, indeed, it's a lot of sweets.
Let's say it's not freedom.
It's freedom.
So it does correlate.
This is freedom. It's freedom in everything.
Omnipotence, all-powerfulness, from the phrase, I can do everything. Or you can't?
I recognize I can or I can't.
Just little by little, right now, we're starting to move into words. And terms like intention, goal, what else is necessary to master for that? And still Yantra. This is an even higher level. Interacting with your own energy, not just possession, but specifically interacting with your own energy, is an even higher level of self-awareness of your human nature. And obviously, there needs to be motivation for income in these processes. So, what do you need this for?
And I say right away, I want to live. I want to know everything. I want to know myself. I want to know the world. I want to know the manifestations of God Almighty.
What do you say about your own state?
Close,
Why? Why?
and I right away.
Desire.
Desire?
That's why you won't get it as long as you react like that.
You need to stay calm about everything. Yes, you need to stay calm. When you have an even attitude towards everything, then you receive. When I want this toy, that's it, right away.
It's interesting. You look from the outside, there are those shining eyes, right? The body. It's like being ready to act, like a sprinter, right before the start. And at the same time, I say, you're doing it wrong. What were you doing wrong? And you even agree with me. You say, damn, that's true. What were you doing wrong just now?
I did it.
This word. Technically.
And technically, I shrank.
I hid my energy.
I covered up. Yes, I shrank.
I was trying to crystallize with my energy. So, how do you explain to a person when they're doing something wrong if they don't always have the ability to feel it? So, how do you explain that? Is it really possible to explain this if there's no extrasensory perception?
You know, at first, when I didn't feel it, it was purely based on faith. I still meditate on it. Trust, it was trust. Yes, there was trust. There was trust. It was trust. Here she walked so purely. Here she believed. I just believed, that's all. Because I felt you, because, well, the strength, the power. And if I think, I want the same, right? Yes, I want that too. I think, well, if he can do it, then I can too. That's it. I wanted to, well, now I understand when you... That's it. You just fade away. But before, when you were talking about it, I didn't understand it.
So, in order for us to reach an even deeper level of self-awareness now, we need to edit something within ourselves. Right? Yes. And how exactly can this be edited? These are already specific actions when you've actually faced it. And here's what. To train yourself to have the right reaction, what should you do?
You should also train everything you want to approach calmly and evenly. You have to train. You still have to train.
Listen, it works out. Training in satisfying your desires, whims, passions. So you satisfy your passion in simpler ways. First, you train on that in order to aim for more serious passions. Already trained. So it turns out that what have we come to now? What you get, gratitude, is also a skill.
Yes, it's a real skill.
And it can be trained. Cool.
I want to say this. Cool.
I haven't even really explored this topic in my stories, that you can train yourself to enjoy life. And this is not some kind of... It's not about the belief that you're just sitting on the couch and suddenly you feel good, even though it hasn't been great to sit on the couch all the time. It's really about doing what you want. Go, enjoy whatever you want. Renovation in the apartment. Yes, please. At the sea. Yes, please. Let a man into your life. Yes, here it is. Hold on. You need to practice this.
You need to practice this.
You need to practice this. Again, it's about the state, about the flow of energy, really, maintaining yourself in that way. An existence that implies
Connecting with yourself. That's exactly how it all turns out. Love.
we have time to practice. Yes, it's time to practice. Beginner level practices, intermediate level. Advanced level is available one way or another. In Access. This is a course on practical energy. The advanced level is an extraordinary speed, where we were dropping the coke. And you and I have already, to be honest, practiced this. And repeatedly, over the course of a year, both in the Forbidden Club and on my own. You can do all of this. And those practices that we still have yet to practice, we can take a look now. Since it turned out this way, we should meet and chat. What do you think about this?
I'm holding on to my state so I don't scream, wow. Ho 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 ho.
So, can you hold on to your state?
I can hold on. I'm holding on, but I'm smiling with all 33 teeth, you know?
Then just a little bit. I'll lift the curtain a bit. the secrecy of all these processes. Actually, telling these things to people who can't find the tips of their fingers, hands, and feet, well, that's just going to frustrate them. Because when they try to find it, they won't succeed. But people who already talk about energy with such ease, explain the cause and effect relationships. In the physical world and in one's own energy, such people already have the ability to catch these processes. Now we will observe one of the aspects of energy that is directly related to the core. I will tell you directly during the practice so that don't repeat the same thing twice. Well, from you, it requires the manifestation of your mastery, vision, experience, and keeping yourself in the right state, which implies the presence of intention, that is, motivation. Why do you need all of this and love? Not in the sense that you love me or love our operator, in the sense that you love just as a living person. Just because you are aware, just because you breathe, just because you enjoy this life. Unconditional love. Why is this important? Because these energies are conscious, these energies are alive, these energies can leave you if you start behaving unworthily. Regarding these energies you were sowing, right now you need to completely abstract yourself from your gender traits. You sowed for them, they are your hats. You are the intention to which they will be attracted. If you don't have intention at that moment, if you don't have it, this core, the mountains of the world around which worlds revolve, they won't be able to connect with you. They will stay on their sheets. But if you bring all of this out of yourself right now, you can do it. I periodically observe during our practices related to intention and with other processes. You can do it, but right now you need to do it. Ready?
Ready?
And we little bit. Let's talk about this process so that there was an opportunity to remember it, not only at the level of the second attention, at the level of energy, but also on the level of the psyche. Sometimes the information is more accessible there. It happens.
Where is the fontanelle? Right now everything is just open there.
Where is it open?
Where is the fontanelle?
Of course. They dance not only inside the body, but they dance throughout the entire flow.
Even now it's being established, right? And how do you feel it as a structure, and the energies are flowing, and you feel it as something that is yours, but it's outside of you?
What is happening now? It's available for you to perceive. It's her awakening. Awakening is like newborns. And in this video, it's not worth building concepts right away. When this newborn will start to gain strength. Wait, manifestation. It will all transform. At some point, you realize that the entire universe is around you. And the slightest, even just a slightly interrupted breath, the rejection of something, here, puts to sleep a part of yourself. And when you observe this time and again, then such a word as you need to accept everything. It takes on a completely different meaning. Not the one that you need to accept the behavior of other people.
No. This part. It feels like, well, if you translate it into Russian, this is the energy channel, but they are like vessels.
So,
at first they were so bright, there was one, then a second, a third like this, going in different directions, sometimes brighter, sometimes not.
Here it's also brighter, not brighter. We'll also pay attention to this now.
Brighter, not brighter. First it's there, then it gets brighter. Right now, everything feels like electricity is running through it.
It's okay. I also come out of these states during the broadcasts and start talking. All right, I'm showing you how it's done.
Here, these currents. And you realize that this world, it turns out you don't have. It's all universes. You're merging universes through these vessels. Through these little channels, it's a connection. Right now, this is exactly the connection happening. So at first, when I didn't accept it, it would come in and you would somehow know, and now it's still coming to you. It penetrates more calmly, but so slowly that it really settles in. And this really settles in. It's like electricity is flowing. Each of us is Mahadev. Yes, each of us is Mahadev. And it turns out everything comes from them right here as well. So you're closing your eyes right now, for example, with your eyes open, you see nothing. And with your eyes closed. Because it's about how to extend it further, it's all connected, and these channels, you're connecting with them. Yes. So with the universe, here they are, these little channels like tiny pathways. And it's not just on the palms, it's all around. I express myself deliciously. It's all around. This is the intertwining.
Yes, the intertwining, very important as well.
It's about intertwining.
It's all about geometry.
Well, over there. It's really so different. Everything is like that.
Well, what can you say after what you saw, when you perhaps met? Called Sri Yantra? That people pray to and place on various painful spots. It needs to be activated. On the wall. So does it make sense? Hang it on the wall. Look at this picture. No, it's completely about something else.
It's completely about something else. By the way, I used to hang this up. I have it at home too.
I hung it up. It's there, right? I went around the sides.
I didn't just walk past it, but it just stands there, and I didn't even understand how it works. And right now, well, the intertwining of all this, the connection, when you really feel it, because it turns out we are always intertwined with them. It's just that we weren't open to them. But right now, when you open up and you realize that it's all here, this is the Sri Yantra, well, all of it is this intertwining.
Yes, and it's not at all the same as just looking at a picture.
In general,
it's not like that.
Feeling and looking are two different things.
When it becomes accessible, it's a perception. When such a level of self-awareness becomes accessible, you gain such a high level of freedom that you quickly find yourself in a situation where there's nothing left for you to want here. And then on stage comes out something called your intention. Now you're ready to state something called your intention, even if it's just one word. What's it for? Why?
Love is...
Why is that?
Well, it's more... That's life.
It's not that easy, is it?
It's even hard to put into words.
Now that's indeed more honest.
This is the cosmos.
And how do you explain all of this? Can you tell me what is it?
You have to feel it.
Well, explain it. Can't explain it. Can't explain it. That's why we sit down, my dear friends who are watching us right now, and practice. Because explaining it is pointless. Reading about it is pointless. Praying to a picture makes no sense at all. Or you find it within yourself. Clearly and distinctly realizing that you are Har Har Mahadev, each of us is Mahadev. You, a particle of the original, which can grow into the original itself. Or you just like, before, look out into the external world in an attempt to rely on a miracle. To luck, shifting your responsibility from your man to your own, meant to your very core. Where is my everything? It turns out everything around you, inside you, and you are everything. But you need to see it. And to see this, you need to practice. How to practice? Am I showing it? Yes. Show me difficult. No, it's difficult. So, friends, those who doubt, those who are searching. So, just be curious. Practice. Observe these processes on your own. Well, overall, of course, It's hard to find the right words, no matter how much I want to describe with all possible descriptions what this second attention of a person is. The energy, the flow, the amber. All of this becomes accessible only through your own perception of these processes. Even if I help you perceive this, it will still remain in your pocket.
That's for sure.
And no one can take this away from you. Is there anything else you want to say? Should I say something to those who are watching us?
I want to say each of us is Mahadev. Here it all is.
Well, let's hope that we will be heard, understood, and they will hear and understand. And over time, this will be passed on further. When there are more and more people becoming aware, then life becomes much easier. And even if, for some reason, you slip out of this state, and you know from experience that this happens, the people who haven't slipped out of this state at that moment make it very easy to return. Not with us, but if everyone flies out of this state, we have what we have now in the world. Unfortunately. So, the more aware people there are, the easier it will be for everyone to breathe. Well, let's take it slow already. To let you go. Because I know how it feels to try to gather your words after a practice. I was glad to communicate, to practice, to show you something new that we haven't done yet.
This is what the...
Let's move forward. There are no limits. Ahead lies only freedom.
It's you.
It's you. Do you want to unlock your inner strength and learn to manage energy? The course, Power of Consciousness 1. Practical energy will provide you with tools to improve health, develop intuition, and gain a deeper understanding of the world. Join and start changing your life right now. Link in the description.